Hello there everybody, Starborn Feeling here. We are coming with you live with another art video. Well, not live, but anyway, you know what I mean. So this video is going to be a little bit less scripted. So I just wanted to make a few comments first. So my other art video, in this one, I'm glad I was able to get them out in time, just because like I was pressed for time and I realized March was a longer month than expected. So I didn't have enough content to cover everything, so I was rushing to get these videos out, so their quality did suffer a little bit, and I am aware it's not up to my usual standards, but I do hope that one of the things I can do with moving forward in this sort of like style of videos is I can improve my drawing speed, for one, and two, improve quality when working on long, videos much faster. So, yeah. Again, not up to my standard quality, usual, I'm sorry. Again, less scripted video, so apologies if some things get mixed up. But, yeah, this video is not up to my usual standard quality, but we are going to try and work on that as we go forward. So I do apologize and thank anyone for your understanding. Really quickly before we get into the actual video itself, I just want to do a few shoutouts. I realized I haven't been keeping up with that properly, so just to go over the shoutouts for both YouTube and Rumble fans, I want to call out to the Pokemonster, Kevin Kev 3456. Morando and Neval 750, Hayabusa _911, J Samples 87, and Zapper Silva. Thank you all for subscribing to my various channels across the internet, and I do hope you all enjoy the content. So this next video we are working on, it should already be playing, but you can see that we are actually doing something that's been seen online a few times, where we are turning Digimon into various like types of D&D equipment. These first few are all going to be weapons, but I do plan to expand outwards and do armor bits and unique items, things like that as we go. But for now, listen, we're going to stay with the basics. So this first item you should be seeing on screen right now is going to be a Agumon turned into a blade. There was actually another version of this I worked on a while, way back. It was okay, but looking back on it now, I kind of hate the design a little bit. It's big, it's clunky. And instead of doing a sword, I had gone and made it into a fist weapon. I like the concept I was going for, but I don't think the execution quite matched up with what I was trying to do at the time. So, yeah, there is this version here right now. And if I recall, I should have posted or will be posting that copy on screen for a little bit so you can review and compare. Again, it looks kind of weird. But yeah, so this is basically a slashing weapon for, well, those who don't know how a sword works. I don't mean to talk down, but it's kind of obvious, and some people ask how this works. But yeah, this is a slashing weapon that does your standard damage. I don't have my notes in front of me right now, so I apologize, but it should be doing about, I believe, 1d6 standard slashing damage. And then once it's attuned, it does require one attunement slot. Once it's attuned, you can actually add an additional 1d6 fire damage on top of that. What makes this weapon particularly special is its forward, what I like to call the fire stride, I believe, which you dash forward up to 15 feet in a straight line, and upon doing so, anything in your path will take the d6 of slashing damage, plus the standard d6 of slashing and fire damage each, plus an additional d6 of fire damage. And on top of that, this weapon actually leaves a trail of fire. So basically a miniature wall of fire, if you will. And this is actually a good way because it has utility acting as both as a way to clear distance relatively quickly on top of your movement speed. Plus, it allows you to create hazards to deter enemies from going to certain areas. The limitation to this mainly is that it is it can only be used. It starts with a charge of 4 per day, and then recharges 1d4 charges every morning. So it is a little bit limited, but like I said, it's not its most powerful or overbroken ability, so it can be useful. And mind you, depending on the situation, it can be limited. So if you're fighting indoors, for example, 1, you're going to have a limited amount of space you can move. 2, if you're not careful, you'll end up cutting yourself off from your allies, or just cut yourself off from any targets you need to get to. So that's something you want to be mindful of with this particular weapon. I did go through a few different iterations of the weapon itself, trying to figure out what looks best and what type of sword I wanted to make. I wanted to keep this basically simple as using a short sword as a base, and when I looked online, I actually found out short sword is a bit of a broad term. It basically just means any weapon that comes about the length of your forearm, basically. Any bladed weapon that comes up to the length of your forearm, basically. So, a lot of other swords up here, so you'll see things like rapiers and a few different, I believe they're called glaives, if I recall. Or the Greek or Roman glavis, I think it's pronounced. These types of weapons all fall under that same category of short sword. So that is something interesting to note. I'm able to try and keep a lot of the original elements for Augmon in there, trying to keep that coloration, and I even decided to add like a little gem in the shape of his eye on top of that, feeling it would be a nice little touch, and I am kind of glad I went over this design and came out with it I did. The final design is more reminiscent of maybe a machete or a cutlass, I guess, if that makes sense. But ultimately, it did feel most natural. Like, Augmon's fairly the poster boy and kind of basic as far as Digimon goes. He's the template that other Digimon are based off of, if that makes sense. So I felt going with the basic sword was the best fit in the end, and I'm glad with the result. I do plan to try and make some D&D pages based on characters and stuff like that, so we can actually use that as reference later on, and hopefully have that posted in the description for you all to use in your own games when the time comes. But yeah, that was the Agu Blade, as I like to call it, in a nutshell. Okay, so this next one was the, I believe it should be the Guilmon glaive that are designed after. Sorry. So this the next one is the Guilmon glaive. Basically, this is fairly simple. It's just a Guilmon spear. I actually wanted to incorporate, originally wanted to try and incorporate like a more fiery design into it, and you do see that it was a couple of different iterations that I work on. Mind you, it didn't quite work out as well as I would have liked. So in the end, we did have to settle a little bit for what we got here. But ultimately, I'm not going to complain. I felt like I managed to get a lot of the Guilmon elements into this fairly well. And I also decided to go and wrap some cloth around the base of the spear in the design. Give it a more ragged look, and it felt like I really liked the design in the end. It felt really Guilmon, if that makes sense. I incorporated some of his little ear wings. I'm not sure what they're called. I just call them wings. The little wings in his that make up his ears into the design as well, which was a nice little touch, I believe. And so I also included one other thing in this. If you notice toward the end, there are vignettes which explain a little bit about each ability and how each weapon functions. For Guilmon, I actually decided to incorporate the idea of, based on alignment, certain abilities may change for a weapon. So this one I just start off with basic good and evil sort of alignment. So depending on your player character's alignment, you say alignment a lot. Take a shot for every time I say alignment. But depending on your alignment, if you're leaning towards a more neutral or good alignment, you'll be able to access the fire ability, which is, again, it's just a straight shot, basically called the fire toss. I couldn't really come up with a better name for it, but yeah, where you chuck your spear forward in a straight line up to about 15 feet to strike any enemy and set anything in the path ablaze, dealing a nice little chunk of a d6 fire damage, plus the spear's base of, I believe it should be 1d6 piercing damage, and if you're attuned, 1d6 or 1d4 fire damage. It is a spear, so it does have reach, so I decided to nerf some of the additional damage a little bit. The best part of the spear is that, as a bonus action, you can actually have the spear come back to you. It doesn't deal any additional damage on return, but it does prevent you from having to go and pick it back up. Mind you, this is requiring, all these abilities do require attunement to have full access to them. The second version, if you're leaning towards a more evil alignment for your character, is going to be actually dealing necrotic damage, which I thought was fun. And so the way it works is, I call it the wave of sorrow. It's a 15 feet cone AoE that happens in front of your character. You basically just scrape the spear's tip up across the ground and launch it forward, dealing a 1d8 necrotic damage to any character or any enemy in front of your player character. So it's a fun little mechanic. I do want to expand a bit more as we proceed. And also something, since you're all aware that Digimon do Digivolve, what I plan to do is have a mechanic system where you can have, after you've attuned the weapon long enough and have gone through enough combats or enough experiences with the weapons, they will evolve and change depending on your alignment. I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want to do Guilmons at the moment. But I do plan to go and do other weapons as we go. Some might be one big series where I just go through the whole line for a weapon. Others I might do like different iterations, different evolution levels for different weapons. So I might do champion and then mega for one weapon, and then just do a champion for another, or I might do the full line. Just depends. But yeah, that's something interesting to note. Let's see. But yeah, that's this weapon in a nutshell. I'm sorry, like I said, this is unscripted, so I'm a little bit rushing this again. So let's hopefully my ramblings make sense to all of you, and or I managed to get those stat pages up into the description in time for the video. But yeah, that is Guilmon's glaive. Okay, so our final weapon is actually going to be the Gamma Blaster, based on, you guessed it, Gammamon. So I have to admit, Gammamon became one of my new favorite characters when he premiered in Ghost Game, and I kind of wish they kept his little tick from the earlier episodes where he would say, "You give off bad vibe, and I'll make you go boom." I just love that little touch, and I'm sad they didn't keep it throughout the show. It fell off, I think, after like episode 5, which is a shame. It was a fun little tick. But yeah, so this one is an interesting weapon. So as you note, there is a wheel embedded into the blaster. The way this wheel works basically is going to be that you can actually adjust the damage type you do. So before attunement, you deal a 1d4 piercing damage with each shot, and then after attunement, you'll be able to do 1d4 piercing and then 1d4 elemental damage of either. I believe in the video I made it look like ice damage, but I'm probably going to adjust that to make it look. Sorry, I'm going to adjust that into lightning damage, fire damage, or force damage. Kind of to represent each of the different evolution paths that Gammamon can go down. I've actually already come up with a few possible iterations on how we can evolve these weapons. I don't know if those will be the next weapon video. I haven't decided yet. I've also got a bunch of other ideas I wanted to work on as well. With this type of collab, or not even collab really, but with this type of idea, there's just so much you can do and expand on with these Digimon and Digimon turn weapons, that I want to try and figure out what best fits each one before actually coming out with the idea. I've actually planned to redo another weapon I did a while back. This one was actually done for a friend who I'm in a D&D group with. It was a shield based on Agumon, I believe it's called. The little clan with a green little blob inside of it. I won't get too much into that here. That will definitely be its own video. But yeah, that's another one I wanted to rework. But anyway, that is all my weapons for the time being. And I do want to hear back from y'all and see what you thought about these ideas. If you'd like to see the series continue, if there's something you else want to suggest, or if you think maybe there's something I can improve on. Any constructive criticism I'm always willing to, but please don't be a jerk. No, like just you're bad or you should stop drawing. That's not what I'm looking for. If you put those kinds of comments, do expect to be blocked. But yeah, I am curious to hear back what you guys think about this. that is the video for now. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'll try to have everything set up in the description down below, and try and get everything done. And let me know, what did you think of me doing a more freelance unscripted video? Did you enjoy this, or did you think you personally a bit more scripted? I'm curious to hear. Besides that, thank you so much for watching, and remember to be kind, try creating new tomorrow, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, this has been Starborn Feline, signing off, saying goodbye.